In the season 2 of Recruit, Owen is being held in Ostrava by Nichka, who questions him about his identity. He quickly admits that he works for the CIA, and Nichka decides he should be killed. Back in Virginia, Amelia gets a call from Hannah, who warns her that Owen has been kidnapped and threatens to report Amelia if she doesn't help. Meanwhile, Owen bargains for his life as Nichka walks him toward an open grave. Outside, Dawn and Dodge are preparing to enter the compound, but their intentions aren't clear. Dawn actually wants Owen dead. The assault team attacks Nichka's team, giving Owen a chance to escape, but Nichka overpowers him. Dawn arrives and is shocked to learn that Nichka is Max's daughter. Her team takes Nichka away, and she hesitates over whether to leave Owen to die. Owen convinces her to work together since they know each other's secrets. Before she can act, a second team arrives and rescues Owen. On Sakhalin Island, a Korean woman is kidnapped by masked men. After his rescue, Owen is flown back to the US and treated on the plane. He confesses to Lester about the people he has killed, and Lester warns him not to tell anyone else. Hannah confronts Owen and tells him their relationship is over, moving out of their shared apartment. Dawn reports the asset's death to her superiors, blaming him for lying, but Director West promotes Lester to take over Dawn's division and instructs him to recruit Nichka as an asset. Dawn later meets Owen, and they plan to shift the blame to Max and Xander. Nichka overhears and confronts Owen, who convinces her to become an asset for money. Owen visits Nyland, who benches him, clearing out his office and warning him that he is trapped. Owen spends days bored until he finds a post addressed to his predecessor containing a code. He investigates with IT, causing a temporary office shutdown. He convinces Nyland to let him pursue the lead, arguing that it will help clear his name. Owen reveals he lived in Korea as a child, which will help in the investigation. Nyland approves a secret operation in Korea and pairs Owen with Janice, who is not happy about it. Before leaving, Owen gets a threatening call from Nichka, asking for payment for her work as an asset. On arrival in Seoul, Owen and Janice are questioned by military officials. Owen bonds with Jang Hyun Kim, who pretends to be a clerk, and they notice they are being followed. At the Paradox Hotel, Owen distracts Jang Hyun Kim with food and sneaks out to meet his childhood crush, Jin Lee. They catch up briefly before Owen heads to a club to meet the Greymailer. At the club, Owen realizes the note he found was a trap. He gets into a fight, and Jang Hyun Kim saves him. During the escape, Jang sprays something in Owen's face, causing him to pass out. Owen then discovers that Jang Hyun Kim is the Greymailer. Owen wakes up to find Jang Hyun Kim has taken him to Yongsan Garrison, the place where Owen lived when his dad died. Owen wonders if Jang is trying to mess with his emotions, but it turns out Jang wants him to understand why he's blackmailing the CIA. The Korean woman kidnapped earlier is Jang's wife, Nan Hee, and he needs the CIA's help to find her. He can't report it to his agency because it might look suspicious. Nan Hee, who works for an NGO helping Koreans trapped on the island after Russia took control, doesn't know her husband works for NIS. She also relies on the Korean mafia, the Jopak, for protection. Owen tries to convince Jang Hyun Kim to stop the blackmail, but Jang is serious. He has a dead switch that will release all his secrets about the CIA if he's killed or betrayed. He gives Owen 48 hours to find Nan Hee, or he will leak everything. Meanwhile, Dawn is in Mauritius, planning to ruin Owen's career and take back her old position. Back in Korea, Owen updates Janice on the situation. Janice says it's above their pay grade and they should report to Nyland. But before they can act, an assassin tries to kill Owen. He survives and manages to get on a plane. Once in the US, he borrows a phone to contact Jang Hyun Kim, who denies attempting to kill him and promises to look into it. At the same time, Hannah is frustrated with her mom for skipping dinner. The family mediator explains that her mother is upset with her recent decisions and is cutting ties. Hannah gets angry and covers lunch herself, then meets Jay, who hires her to help with his business contracts. Owen briefs Nyland on the case, surprised that his attempted assassination is being overlooked. Nyland warns him that operations are being watched and tells Owen to focus on rescuing Nan Hee. Janice is tasked with keeping Jang Hyun Kim on their side for now, though Nyland has no real plans to help him. Amelia warns Owen that CEG agents are looking for him because of Max's death. He manages to avoid them and continues his investigation, running into Jay and Hannah at the Department of State office. In Korea, Jang Hyun Kim investigates why Russia took Nan Hee but gets no answers from his sources. Owen also tries to find out more, eventually calling Lester for help. Lester agrees to assist using Nichka in exchange for Owen giving him Dawn's assets. While this happens, Janice and Jang Hyun Kim pretend to recruit each other to keep appearances. Owen eventually contacts the special presidential envoy for hostages, Tom Wallace, to get guidance on rescuing Nan Hee. Meanwhile, Nichka threatens Owen, demanding money to get information, and goes on a killing spree to find answers. Owen also tries to convince Dawn to cooperate, but she refuses. Finally, Owen joins Tom on a plane headed to meet the Taliban. Tom warns Owen that he hasn't signed the death and dismemberment waiver, making it clear they're heading into a dangerous mission. In Doha, Qatar, Owen is heading to meet the Taliban with Tom. During the ride, he shares that his dad died in a bomb when he was 12. Tom worries that the meeting could trigger Owen's trauma, but Owen insists he's in control and focused on the mission. Still, Tom warns him to keep his emotions in check. Meanwhile, back in Korea, Jang Hyun Kim can't sleep, thinking about his wife Nan Hee and her last risky trip. He calls Owen, but Owen is in a meeting with Oliver and Tom. Owen excuses himself to update Jang Hyun Kim, promising that he's working on a plan. During the meeting, Owen leaves after seeing the Taliban, and Oliver follows him to apologize about Nan Hee's situation. While they talk, Owen notices a guard acting suspiciously, calls Jang Hyun Kim, and rushes back to warn Tom. A gunfight breaks out when attackers try to take out the Taliban leader and Tom, but Owen and Oliver hide and eventually fight back. Owen saves Oliver, who then fixes issues with his Russian source and discovers who took Nan Hee. Owen learns that the Russians weren't behind the kidnapping. Soon after, Nichka calls, claiming she knows who did it, but she demands money first. Owen calls Lester, threatens to involve Director West, and forces him to pay Nichka. Back home, Hannah deals with family tension after her mom skips dinner. She charges lunch herself, meets Jay for business, and flirts with him, though she worries he may not be trustworthy. At the same time, CEG agents question Amelia about her connection to Owen and Hannah's presence in Geneva, but Amelia dodges them. In Mauritius, Dawn plans to hit Lester, but Lester pushes back and starts getting motivated to return to operations. In Korea, Jang Hyun Kim tries to recruit Janice, offering money, but Janice refuses and insists they focus on getting intel from Grace Cho. Jang Hyun Kim refuses to give anything up until he knows more about his wife. Owen is on his way back to Korea with answers, and Grace Cho emails him to confirm his return. Amelia is warned by Neeland that CEG has a warrant to search her house. She quickly deletes incriminating videos of herself and Owen and threatens the agents, forcing them to back off. Meanwhile, Lester gets the money to Nichka, who tells him the Yakuza are behind Nan Hee's kidnapping. On his way back, Lester survives an assassin attack and informs Violet that his cover might be blown. Owen debriefs with Lee Jin at her bar, and it's clear she's unhappy with her life. As they talk, Jang Hyun Kim shows up and forces Owen to reveal the Yakuza's involvement. They discover Nan Hee is being held in eastern Russia by the Yamazaki clan. Jang Hyun Kim attacks the Jopak hideout, questions his source, and kills him after getting the answer. Finally, Jang Hyun Kim admits he indirectly caused his wife's danger. The NIS used Nan Hee's NGO to track cryptocurrency in the criminal world without her knowing. He didn't expect anyone to trace the money to her, but the Yakuza did. Owen is frustrated to learn the CIA and NIS were working together, using the funds to track Americans. He punches Jang Hyun Kim, takes his car, and leaves, realizing the case is far from simple. Owen steals Jang Hyun Kim's car and drives off, calling Janice to let him know he's heading to Jang Hyun Kim's house to locate the dead switch. Janice warns him to be careful and take pictures of everything. Owen reaches the house safely and starts photographing the place. However, Jang Hyun Kim comes home, leading to a brief fight. After struggling for a bit, they calm down and agree that working together is better. Jang Hyun Kim also points out that he wouldn't leave the dead switch in his house. Meanwhile, in Warsaw, Lester is panicking over the assassination attempt on him and worries that his cover is blown. Violet advises him to return to the US. At the same time, Dodge informs Dawn that their mercenary is dead, and she decides to head back to the US as well to assess how much people know about their activities. The next day, Owen packs to leave Korea and asks Janice to monitor Jang Hyun Kim. Jang Hyun Kim sneaks into the NISIT room to check the latest intel on cryptocurrency but finds nothing suspicious. Grace Cho almost catches him, but he lies convincingly and continues monitoring Janice and Owen as instructed. Back at Langley, Amelia thanks Nyland for the warning about CEG visiting her house. They both feel relieved that Owen, Lester, and Dawn are in different countries, making it harder for CEG to reach them. However, Lester and Violet arrive and run into Owen at the airport. Dawn and Dodge follow Owen and Lester, assuming they are suspicious. Owen goes home, finds Terrence, Hannah, and Jay having dinner, and excuses himself. He handles Hannah's announcement about dating Jay calmly, even wishing her the best. Meanwhile, Jay sneaks around Owen's room, taking pictures. At Langley, Owen updates Director West and Neeland. They agree that running a covert operation in South Korea without notifying NIS was a bad idea. Owen suggests involving Lester, who is still technically in operations, and the directors agree. They also plan to call Oliver and use Jang Kyung-kim for intel on the Yamazaki clan. After Amelia warns Owen that CEG agents are in the building, Owen and Lester hide and leave secretly. CEG agents end up finding Dawn but fail to get any information from her. Dawn and Dodge then plan to secretly fly to South Korea to target Lester and Owen. In South Korea, Lester encounters Grace Cho, who pressures Jay for information on Owen. Lester and Owen are released, and they meet Janice at a motel to plan their mission. Oliver informs them that the Yamazaki lieutenant is in Seoul, but they need a cover. They decide to pose as life insurance agents handling kidnapping cases. They also plan to raise money to buy Nan-hee's release. Lester uses operational funds from Warsaw, and Jang Kyung-kim contributes money from NIS. They gather $2 million successfully. Owen sneaks out to see Jin Lee's show and kisses her, angering Oliver for risking the mission. The team meets with Mr. Nakano, offering $1 million for Nan-hee. Nakano refuses and demands $10 million, agreeing to a video call as proof of life. Owen calms Jang Kyung-kim and plans to discuss raising the money with their bosses. Back home, Hannah catches Jay copying her hard drive and gets hurt in the struggle. Finally, Owen, Oliver, and Jang Kyung-kim return to the motel. Lester confirms they traced Nan-hee's location from Nakano's video, discovering she is being held in Vladivostok, Russia. Grace Cho calls a meeting with all NIS agents to brief them on Owen, Janice, and Lester, planning to use all available resources to flush them out. Following the meeting, agents search the American operatives' hotel rooms. But by the end, Grace realizes that Jang Kyung-kim is missing. Meanwhile, at the motel, Owen, Lester, and Jang Kyung-kim discuss their plan to reach Vladivostok. Owen mentions nearly dying last week, and Lester shows a photo of the assassin he killed. Jang Kyung-kim identifies him as Lee, a former intelligence officer now a gun for hire. The team realizes Dawn is after them, and Owen explains why she is determined to kill them. Janice finishes cleaning up and decides to leave the case, which Jang Kyung-kim accepts, asking Lester to reactivate Nichka. Grace Cho calls Jang Kyung-kim at home, questioning the ransacked house. He lies, claiming Janice drugged him and searched the place, and says he's heading to the office. Grace tells him not to bother as someone spotted the Americans near the motel, and police are on the way. Jang Kyung-kim alerts the team, and they quickly leave. Owen then calls Nichka to do recon work, and she agrees for a fee of $1 million. Owen and Lester rent a car and establish a temporary base at the American embassy. At home, Hannah wakes up to find Jay waiting. He apologizes and explains he was forced by Grace Cho to spy. Grace convinces Jay to call Owen, and Hannah explains she is being held captive. Owen contacts Amelia, who quickly coordinates with Neeland and Director West to send trusted agents to rescue Hannah. They arrest Jay and bring Hannah back to Langley. Owen makes a secure video call to Hannah, instructing her to forget the events, which she reluctantly accepts. In Korea, Grace Cho tracks and arrests Janice, but he refuses to give any information. Meanwhile, Owen and Lester receive an alert that Jang Kyung-kim might walk into a trap at the NIS building. They call him just in time, and he narrowly escapes. Soon after, Dawn and Dodge arrive in the country. Owen and Lester capture them at a cliff, planning to execute them. But Owen realizes they'll need Dawn and Dodge for the upcoming mission in Russia. He convinces them to join the team in exchange for their lives. Owen then leverages the mission's success to secure Lester the Moscow station chief position and arranges his own exit from the CIA without a bad reputation. Director West agrees, asking Owen to act as the scapegoat if the mission fails. They finally obtain the dead switch, a code created using Jang Kyung-kim's rope art to neutralize threats if needed. To leave Korea, Owen contacts Jin Lee, offers her money, and explains the mission. She agrees to help, but Grace Cho arrives with police. Owen and Jin Lee flee through the streets on her bike, eventually reaching Sokcho Port, where the rest of the team is waiting. Jin Lee's father has a boat ready to help them escape. Lester, however, is frustrated at Owen for spending their money carelessly. Lee Jin successfully brings Owen, Jang Kyung-kim, and the team to Vladivostok, Russia. Meanwhile, Nichka poses as a Russian operative checking on the Yamakasi clan. She demands a cut of the deal for Nan-hee and asks to see proof of life, which Mr. Nakano provides. After confirming Nan-hee is alive, Nichka updates Owen but warns that the compound is heavily guarded and they cannot enter directly. Owen decides to lure the Yamakasi clan to the sea, as it is illegal for K&R companies to operate in Russia. They learn that Nan-hee was kidnapped to silence her after overhearing a drug deal. The clan no longer needs her, but is willing to sell her for profit. Owen convinces Mr. Nakano to meet at sea, while Dawn prepares her team to attack. They trick the Yamakasi clan by hiding money in a suitcase with decoy books. Jang Kyung-kim signals Nan-hee to pretend they do not know each other. However, just as Dawn is about to strike, Russian Coast Guards appear. To avoid an international incident, Dawn and Lester retreat, locking Lee Jin in the bathroom as they leave. Owen jumps into the sea, but Jang Kyung-kim is shot and captured, leaving Owen unable to rescue his wife. Nichka reveals she betrayed them by paying the Russian Coast Guards to appear at the right moment. Back at Langley, Nyland and Amelia struggle with whether to blame Owen for the failed mission. Amelia monitors the mission via video feed and reports the failure to Nyland, who instructs her to protect the agency and place the blame on Owen. In South Korea, Violet convinces Grace Cho to release Janus and blame Owen for her own failures. Nichka arrives to help, but reveals she plans to hand them over to the Russians. Owen fights back, knocks her out, locks her in a car trunk, and moves toward the military airport where Jang Kyung-kim and Nan-hee are held. Meanwhile, Dawn tries to eliminate Lester and Lee Jin. Lee Jin escapes through a bathroom window, fights back, and regains control of the boat. Nichka also frees herself, kills Dawn, and heads to the airport. Owen rescues Jang Kyung-kim and Nan-hee, and the three jump into the ocean. Lee Jin arrives to pick them up, but the Russian Coast Guard pursues them. An American Navy submarine intervenes, forcing the Russian Coast Guard to retreat. After receiving first aid aboard the submarine, Owen and Jang Kyung-kim have a candid conversation. Jang Kyung-kim thanks Owen for his help, and Owen offers him a role in the CIA. Jang Kyung-kim accepts, though Owen's authority to recruit remains uncertain.